Welcome, this is Shakti Carola Navran, your online astrologer, and I'm living on Maui. So I do this weekly forecasts with you, I do daily forecast, I do solar eclipse forecast, new moon, full moon, whatever's happening out there. So make sure you sign up for your newsletter so I can keep you in the loop for the longer videos. And today we're going to talk about the upcoming week. So we start out the week with a really big bang. And whenever I look into the coming week, I try to crystallize the information for you into something very practical. My sun is in Taurus after all. So I really want to give you some very practical suggestions and ideas and steps you can do to align yourself with the celestial energies. So whatever we look at in astrology, there's always a low-end way of possibilities how we manifest the potential, and there's a high-end potential how we manifest. So the only deciding factor is our state of consciousness. So that's why forecasts and astrology in general is so powerful, because it can prepare you. It gives you the choice, where do you want to manifest? Because you know kind of what's happening, which gods and goddesses are coming knocking at our doors. Okay, so tomorrow we start with a big bang. We have a new moon solar eclipse. Hi Sherry, good to see you. New moon solar eclipse in Pisces. And a solar eclipse in itself is kind of a rebooting of consciousness. That's how you can think about it. Because the sun, the earth, and then the moon is kind of in between the sun and the earth, interrupts the flow there for a time. And then when the sun energy comes back fully to the earth, that's kind of the idea of the reboot, the new start. But then of course it depends where that is happening. So this one is happening in Pisces. Pisces is the last sign in one circle of evolution. So in Pisces, ruled by Neptune, it's all about water, it's all about our intuitive connection to the bigger picture, to our own higher self, to the bigger morphogenetic field, the collective, or as I call it, the ocean consciousness, all that is, that sense of oneness we all had at least moments in our life to connect with, and how good does it feel? That's why all the art and creativity are so much fun and nurturing for us to do, because what's actually happening, we're tapping into the field, the divine consciousness, the ultimate consciousness, all that is. So I find it very powerful and helpful to imagine our own individual sense of self as being the wave in the ocean, as Carl Jung was describing it. So he kind of based his whole idea that of unconsciousness, that's kind of the 90 to 95% of the belly of the wave, and the consciousness is a 5 to 10%, just the top of the wave. And then there's not only so much undiscovered in our own richness, in our own belly of the wave, then there's the ocean consciousness, all that is, no limitations whatsoever. So this week, and actually all months, we are really, really invited to grab that true reality, to connect to all that is. And we have all these planets, not only the solar eclipse tomorrow, but we have all these other planets in Pisces. So I talked about that in depth in the solar video I prepared for you, so make sure I kind of put it at the end of this one so you can continue watching that. So what's so special about this new moon solar eclipse is that we not only have sun and moon there, we also have Chiron, the wounded healer. So it's really pointing us into the direction of the truth that ultimate healing is really happening inside of our consciousness, inside of our attunement to that bigger field. So Chiron is always pointing towards where we are aware we need to do the healing, and where we can actually take the proper steps. Then there is Neptune in Pisces in his own sign, so that's very powerful. And then there is a South Node. So the South Node in evolutionary astrology, if you have had an individual reading with me, we have talked about that in depth, what that means for you in your individual karma, in your spiritual direction, and where you want to go, need to go this lifetime. But the South Node collectively is really something we need to integrate and heal and bring to a higher level of consciousness collectively. So there's a lot of misdirection, a lot of chaos, a lot of projections out into the field of the political landscape. So I want to talk a little bit today about how we can position and navigate as an individual in all that violence, currents, whatever, we all facing. So also on top of it, on Sunday, we will have a Mars Uranus conjunction. Conjunction means the energy are flowing together. They have to adapt with each other. They have to integrate with each other. And it's all in Aries. And then it's in a T-square, which is a very strong, challenging connection also with Pluto and Jupiter. So that's why I said this week starts on a big bang. So the best we can do is to really align ourselves with those higher forces, with higher consciousness, and then make decisions in our individual life from that place. So, okay, before I go there more, we also have Venus turning retrograde. So that is no good news for people who want to get married, because you don't want to have a starting day of that getting together, getting married, promising each other to be there under Venus retrograde. So even in general, I don't consider retrogrades as bad. There are no bad astrological qualities. There's always a low end and a high end. Nevertheless, retrograde Venus is not something I would like to see in a wedding date, because it just slows things down. It just irritates and encumbers the flowering of the heart. And that is actually what a relationship is really about. It's about that sacred container, that healing alchemy of being close and intimate with somebody else, mirroring us back, our wounds and hurts, and then we have to do something with that. So relationship is complicated, is difficult, as we all know, but Venus retrograde is not helping. So if you can, and if you have plans in the next 1.5 months to get married, you might reconsider if you believe in this stuff. Okay, so what else? Yeah, so these are the main shifts. So let's get to what I suggest for you to do to surf the wave, to find high-end ways to manifest this potential. So first of all, I want to recommend a book for you. So Yogananda, Autobiography of a Yogi. So I know a lot of you might have read it. I read it probably 20 or 30 years ago. And my husband is rereading it as well, and he's discussing it with me, and I'm kind of amazed how with how new ears I'm hearing the information. So I'm gonna reread it. So as you know, Yogananda was a saint, a mystic. So this is where we have the connection to all the Piscean mystical energy in the air, and he kind of describes his own journey. And he's a Kriya yoga teacher. So I know yoga is very fashionable in the West, and I totally support that. It's a wonderful practice to have. But Kriya yoga is more than just exercise, as we often make yoga into. So Kriya yoga obviously is really an old science of enlightening and enlightenment. So and he talks in the book about our perspective as three-dimensional physical beings. And actually, it's not the truth. We are actually consciousness, wave, whatever metaphor you want to use. But even from a scientific point of view, you know that you're not this physical body. I mean, if we go deep enough, we know that all there is really space and emptiness. And so to get too attached to the physical perspective we're holding, and those identifications and attachments ultimately don't serve us. So get the Yogananda autobiography of a yogi and let me know what you think. I think it's a very helpful journey he invites you to take with him by describing his journey of awakening. And then we all know that talk is cheap and action is precious. So I just put up on my Facebook an article, actually 2 articles by Michael Moore, and he talks about 10 concrete steps we can all take, legal steps, to make a difference, to step into becoming part in the resistance against Trump and all he stands for. And I do believe we all need to take position. We need to bring the kindness and consciousness in our unique way to bring that to the world, and we need to do that. So yeah, make sure you read the article, 10 action steps, and it's simple stuff to do, and if we all do that, very, very powerful. Okay, as you know, I'm also a gemstone expert. So I always, let me get my clock here. I always talk about how we can use gemstones for meditation, in order to balance our individual energy field. And I actually have developed what I call the gemstone profile report, where I give you your true birthstones, one for each planet in your chart. So if you're interested in that, go to my website, Mao Astrology Reading, and check that out. It's just $20. So that's, if you love gemstones, then it's a good thing to start with the gemstones you really know are your most potent individual birthstones to work with. And then, of course, there are many gemstones we can just work with on a day-to-day basis because we are attracted to the energy. Or when I talk about which gemstones to use for the coming week, it's just a way to use a gemstone as your focal point, as a way to focus your energies and align yourself and balance yourself in a short term. So I have talked about the pearls as being a wonderful ally for all these Piscean energies we have been talking about for a while. So pearls are wonderful, wonderful. If you have necklaces, earrings, wear them all throughout the months. Wonderful. So then the Herkimer diamond. Herkimer diamond is a double terminated crystal, and you can tell it has 2 points, so it's a plus and a minus. So because of that, when you have the Herkimer diamond, like you lay down for meditation, you can put on your heart or on your third eye. That is where the Herkimer diamond will help us with the balancing. So while the pearls are kind of nurturing, easing us emotionally and helping us to connect with the bigger picture of the ocean consciousness, Herkimer diamonds more kind of do the balancing when we pulled into 2 directions. So either or are good gemstones to work with. And then, of course, the coral. The coral is Mars and Neptune and Venus. And you know, corals grow in the ocean, so here we have the Neptunian connection. But because they're red, they have this Martian energy, that passionate, energetic aspect to them. And remember, when I started out, I talked about the Mars Uranus as being this volatile, potentially very aggressive, very angry kind of low-end manifestations with it. So whatever we can do to help in our personal way how to deal with our anger, coral can be helpful for that. So if you have corals, get them out, meditate with them, so you can lay them on the first chakra all the way up to the heart, and just see how your energies are uplifted. You will have more physical energy and maybe more passion and focus onto where you really want to express and point your energies. Red coral, yes, Sherry. Okay, you guys, if you have questions, put them in now. So also for people who listen to the recording later, I will get back to your comments. So make sure you like and comment, so I do know I'm not just talking into empty space. That's a way to say thank you, is to do that for me. So yeah, and make sure you get that article from Michael Moore and take some action. I mean, this is really your personal point of power and taking charge of your own life. And we are at a crossroad as humans, I believe. It's not just American. I mean, those upheavals, this unrest, this potential violence and war is everywhere in the world. So, but in our own personal life and where and how we take action, this is where we can really make a profound difference. And it's all about not being disempowered and victimized by circumstances, but to truly act on that whatever is happening out there in our outer life is a reflection of our inner life. So right now we're looking at shadow material, the darkest. So we have to be aware of that dance between healing and uplifting our own frequency, and then bringing that action which stems from that back into the world and do what we can do. I truly believe that is what these times really want us to know, need us to do. Okay, so okay, you guys, again, please like the video, give me a feedback, let me know how you get through the week. If you give me feedback, I keep learning and know how things fall out for different people. So don't be shy to connect with me. Make sure you sign up for your newsletter so I can keep you in the loop with the longer videos like this one. And I hope you make it well through the week. And aloha, as we say here on Maui, and namaste, and all the best to you.